Welcome to Toastmaster Time, the show that has everybody talking. I'm Ashley Harkness, your host for this particular episode of Toastmaster Time. And with me is Venu Subramaniam, who is our evaluator. How are we doing tonight?
Doing great, Ashley. We got two advanced speakers with great topics. I'm looking forward to hearing their speeches.
Very, very good. Well, I'll be getting back to you a little bit later on, but right now I want to introduce our first guest, Jim Schultz. Welcome to the Toastmaster Time, Jim.
Thank you, Ashley.
You're a Toastmaster. How long have you been a Toastmaster?
I've been in Toastmasters for 3 years.
3 years. And what club do you come to us from?
South Bay Toastmasters of Fremont.
Of Fremont. All right. Great city. What brought you to Toastmasters, Jim?
Well, you know, Ashley, I wanted to improve my speaking skills, and I couldn't find any other organization that could help polish me the way I needed to get polished. I've been teaching a lot of kids and high schoolers, and I just wanted to become better and not lose their interest.
Well, I can see that Toastmasters is going to help you with that. So the question I have is, the speech you did tonight, what brought you to do that particular speech?
Well, I was doing my advanced manual, and it's the humorous speech. So I wanted to give it a whirl and try a little bit of my humor out and see how well I could sell that. I think the high schoolers might enjoy it if I put a little bit of humor into my teaching.
How much of a stretch was that for you to put humor into your
Well,
presentation?
not as a big a stretch as some might imagine. I find humor comes by very easy. I have 2 little kids after all.
Ah, well, I have been there. I understand that. That's really good. So, are you ready to give your speech?
I am ready to give my speech. I'm excited.
Okay, good. Well, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to get ready and get on your mark. And while that's happening, I'm going to tell the people at home exactly what a manual speech is. Toastmasters is organized so that when you're learning communication skills, you don't just go up and talk, but you follow a prescribed course of instruction. Each one of the projects that you have, it's all set up with all kinds of different objectives, techniques, and all of them advance you one step at a time to become the better speaker that you want to be. Part of that is the evaluations. We give instant evaluations so that you know exactly how well you did and perhaps even a couple of suggestions as to what you might want to do in the future. But to have an evaluator with us tonight, please help me welcome back Venu Subramaniam. So, you're the evaluator. You know what his speech is. Tell us about his objectives.
Absolutely. So Jim will be talking from Project 3, Make Them Laugh, from the advanced manual.
Okay.
He's going to be using his life experience to talk about, guess what? Did you see his outfit? About vacation.
About vacations. Oh my goodness gracious. Now that advanced manual you're talking about is the entertaining speaker, right?
That's right.
So he'll be trying to put humor into it?
He's going to be injecting humor into speech, and he's going to give you a lot of tips on how to do your vacation next time you go over.
I think that's something we could all use.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to be talking to you a little bit later on, but right now it's time for me to introduce our speaker, Jim Schultz, with his speech, The One-Eyed Wanderer's Guide to a More Exciting Vacation.
Have you ever wanted to make your vacations more fun and exciting? Do they seem to lack imagination? You know, like the picture on the brochure doesn't quite look that way. Or does it seem like it's more hassle than it's worth? You know, like using frequent flyer miles. I mean, the blood, the sweat, the tears involved in that. Or is your idea of a vacation all about maximizing meal plans and minimizing wait times and lines at amusement parks? Is that your idea of vacation? Come on, lady. Your kids are too big for that Dumbo ride. Your vacation lacks pizzazz, panache, and polizia. So I'm going to show you 5 ways that you can spice up your excursions and give you some examples from my own recent trip to Italy. All right, first tip. Any great voyage begins by choosing the right crew. Well, for most of us, unfortunately, that means we're stuck taking our family along. Now, these are the same people who drive us crazy all year long. So my first tip is invite somebody else along. Now, this will change up the chemistry. It'll add a new thing to the mix. On my trip, believe it or not, I brought my mother-in-law. Yeah, I know. She immediately contributed to the fun and excitement by losing her heart medication. So I spent the first day discovering the joys of trying to translate from English into Italian the active ingredients in her medication. All right, everybody say it with me. Idrogeno sulfato. Idrogeno sulfato. Yeah, I didn't do that well either, so don't worry about it. All right, second tip. air travel. Now, we all know that air travel can be boring and stressful. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips to help you spread your wings in style. All right, first tip. Any of you have kids? If you have kids, you know how exhausting and frustrating a trip can be with your kids. All right, what I want you to do is I want you to take the advantage of the airline's free babysitting service. Didn't know they had it? Here's how you do it. See, when you're booking your tickets online, choose your seats away from theirs. Then sit back and have a laugh as you watch some stranger try and break up the fights between your two kids. She looked at me. He touched me. Lots of fun. How about this? Need a massage between flights? Did you know that the airports offer free massages? No kidding. Here's how you take advantage of that. What you do is you pack a water bottle into your carry-on luggage. Then you take it through security and you let the magic fingers of TSA do the rest. All right, next tip, hotels. Hotels have a dramatic impact on our stay and our vacation. My tip for you is to avoid all the all-inclusive large chain hotels. And then instead, opt for the smaller ones. Now, why would you do that? For me, all-inclusive means 3 squares and a cot. It's like you're in prison. You're locked into their experience. So you don't want that. You want to be able to discover new things. So opt for the smaller, family-run hotels. You know, when you do that, you get to meet the quirky staff that know they can't be fired. You know, these are the kind of guys that will spill the local gossip as easy as they spill your coffee. Also, they offer one-of-a-kind experiences. For example, one hotelier that I had met, he taught me the Italian word for dog as his pet was chasing me down the hall. Il cane! Il cane! All right, next tip, pictures. Everybody wants to have those priceless moments, those memories of their vacation. But the problem is, usually they're terrible. Why aren't your pictures very good? Well, it's because your family's in them. Let's face it, they won't pose for you, they won't smile, and they're slobs. They dress like slobs. So the solution is very simple. Take pictures of strangers. Yes, I said it. When I was at the Leaning Tower of Pisa, I saw this girl doing all these great ballerina poses. So I started taking pictures of her. Well, you know, everybody was raving about my photographs. Well, you know what happens is eventually your family will get excited and they'll beg you to be let back into their pictures. Well, don't let them off so easy. What you want to do is you want to start taking pictures of them with strangers. That's how you let them back in. All right, the final surefire way to rev up any vacation is by renting a car. The key thing with this is you want to get the maximum amount of insurance that you can purchase. Then you can close one eye and you can plunge into a world of chaotic, cryptic signs and rude gestures without any fear of costly damages. You know, also like me, you'll find the thrill of maybe orbiting a roundabout and trying to figure out, how do I get out of this thing? Also, you know, it gives you the greatest opportunity to meet foreign police, the polizia, as you try to explain why you're driving in a restricted area, meant only for gondolas. Anyway, what you want to do, there it is, 5 surefire tips for a more exciting vacation, which should certainly get you a high five from your family, whether it's family or photography, travel by air or by car, or breaking those hotel chains. Give yourself more opportunities to interact with locals and the freedom to embrace the moment. So close one eye, the one that fears the unknown, and become a one-eyed wanderer.
I haven't had so much fun in a long time. That was a great speech. What do you think?
That was really funny, and I'm still smiling.
Yes, so am I. I think it's great. Tell me, how did he hit his marks for the
Absolutely. Jim had great humor in his speech. He gave great tips to have a great vacation. Only thing I regret, I should have heard this thing before I went on vacation 2 years ago to Italy, actually.
Well, I don't know. Some of his ideas are kind of scary, especially that bit about taking pictures of other people.
Absolutely.
Well, that can get you in some trouble. Okay. So You're saying basically he hit his marks, and that's a
Yes.
good speech. Have you got something for a recommendation for him?
Sure. Perhaps you should find out if there is a way to get some bail money after doing that driving which he just described.
Oh,
that would be a great thing.
That'd be a great thing to do. I'm going to have to talk to him about that after this show. But right now, it's time for Toastmaster Time to take a break. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Name an effective political leader in history who couldn't speak well.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
There aren't any.
Because when it comes to a disease
Freedom
like this,
requires leadership,
there are no
and leadership
political
requires
parties.
oratory. You have to speak to be heard.
I have a dream.
It's all about personal growth and guts.
Never give in. Never, never, never.
Welcome back to Toastmaster Time, the show that has everybody talking. We're here with our special guest, Gary Wong. Welcome to Toastmaster Time, Gary.
Pleased to be here.
Well, Toastmasters, you've been in Toastmasters a long time. You've been in district government. You've been a very active person. But today, you're from which clubs?
Oakland 88 Toastmasters and Lakeview Toastmasters.
And Lakeview Toastmasters. Fantastic. How long have you been a Toastmaster,
About
Gary?
14 years now.
14 years. I'll bet you have a lot of stories for us in that. What brought you to Toastmastering?
Fear of speaking and then trying to overcome that fear.
And how you feel you've been successful in overcoming the fear?
For the most part, but every one of us has that innate fear, no matter how often we practice.
Oh, I agree with that. I agree with that. And the key to it is practice, I think. Isn't that right?
Very much so.
Very much so. So the speech you're going to be doing today is an inspirational speech. We're looking very forward to that. Are you ready to do that speech?
I am ready.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to get to your mark and get set. And during that time, I'm going to tell the people at home a little bit more about Toastmasters, the organization. Toastmasters is an international leadership and communication organization with clubs all over the world. There are 250,000 Toastmasters spread out in 17,500 clubs. The idea behind the club is a small group of people get together and create an environment where it's safe to learn, to try out new things, and get accustomed to being a public speaker, a leader, and someone who changes the lives of people around you. You make great friends. In fact, we've made a lot of friends today. Today, with our Evaluator Venu, you're back. Tell us a little bit more about what Gary is going to be doing in his speech.
Yes, Ashley. So Gary is a member of so many clubs. He's going to use his enormous experience to talk about specialty clubs. So he'll be speaking on speech number 10 from the manual, Inspire Your Audience.
Excellent. Very good. Well, we'll be talking to you a little bit later on how he's doing.
Absolutely.
So right now, however, we want to have Gary come on board and I'm going to introduce his speech. So please welcome Gary Wong with, would you like to be a more interesting speaker?
Do you hate speaking in front of an audience? I certainly did. I remember when I first started out, I thought to myself, I can't stand in front of people. I get nervous. I wouldn't know what to say. And someone said, if you're going to be a leader, you need to learn how to speak. I asked, well, how would that happen? The suggestion was, come to my Toastmasters meeting. Toastmasters? What is Toastmasters? Do they make toasters? And I'm not into drinking, so what is it? I found out that Toastmasters was the leading organization to develop communication and leadership skills in the world. Now that's a mouthful, but what does it really mean? It's just like anything else. If you want to learn how to swim, you got to get in the water. If you want to learn how to ride a bicycle, you got to get on the bike. And you know what? You're going to fall down. You're going to get water up your nose. You're going to feel uncomfortable. That's how it was for me. But the one thing I liked about Toastmasters was that it was a lot of fun. We learned from each other. By learning from each other and by practicing, we got better, just a little bit better each time. The world champion of public speaking once said, the best way to improve your communication skills is to practice, practice, practice. All of us in Toastmasters practice on a weekly basis. We do it because it's fun. We do it because we're learning something from it. We find great value in participating in a Toastmasters meeting. If you're a Toastmaster, you all know that we complete 10 speech projects. Projects that emphasize different things like vocal variety, body gestures, organizing your speech, using props. These are different areas of communication that we look at, that we practice in what we call the Competent Communication Manual. All of us Toastmasters are very familiar with that. But did you know there is life after the Competent Communication Manual? My wife once said to me, Gary, all the Toastmasters I know complete that manual, those 10 project speeches, in 1 year. And then they're done. You're at it for 14 years. What's taking you so long? Fellow Toastmasters, it's not just about completing 10 speech projects. It's about having fun and improving yourself each time you get up in front of an audience. And you can do that in other areas as well. Many of you may think, one Toastmasters meeting a week, that's enough for me. So you think that you can't have more fun by going to other Toastmaster clubs? Yes, you can. They're called advanced clubs. Advanced clubs meets once a month. We emphasize different skill sets. For instance, Laugh Lovers meets on the third Sunday of every single month. We practice how to inject humor into your speeches. Tales and Tellers, which meets on the first Saturday of each month, emphasize how to tell a story better. Then we have the Speakers Forum, how to present technical presentations in front of an audience, in front of a business group. And then we have the Leadership Club that trains you on how to be a better leader and how to train other leaders. Each of these different clubs emphasize different areas of communication. Fellow Toastmasters, you may think that going to a Toastmasters meeting may be a burden, but on the other hand, you should think of it as an opportunity to get better, to learn, to emphasize different areas. One thing that we should talk about when we talk about speeches, some of you may think, well, I don't really give too many speeches. In fact, I don't give any speeches at all. Consider this. If you are talking to someone other than yourself, you are communicating. You are giving a speech, and it's not really a speech. It is a message. You want your message to be able to resonate, to be attractive to your listener. Attractive so that when that listener hears your message, he or she can take that message and do something with it. Whether it reaffirms what that person already believes, whether it's taking that message and taking action on it, or speaking about it in some way. Anyone can talk. Anyone can stand up here and make noise. But a speaker can craft a message and make it resonate with the listener so that listener can go out and do great things. Fellow Toastmasters, I encourage all of you, don't just stay in your clubs. Go outside. Go outside and look at other different areas. Put humor into your message. People don't remember statistics. They don't remember theories. They don't remember abstract concepts. But they do remember stories. They remember funny stories. And they remember funny stories that you can tell that will make them a better listener, a better communicator, and a better leader. So I recommend that all of you think in terms and act upon going out and having even more fun by joining a few more clubs that will emphasize that message that is so critical to your growth.
Thank you, Gary Wong. Well, Venu, that was a very inspiring speech.
Absolutely.
That gave us a lot to think about. But tell us how he did in terms of his objectives.
Firstly, Ashley, I need to give a toast to his speech. It was very humorous, and he really inspired. Anybody will be inspired to quickly go and join the Toastmasters Club after listening to his speech.
I could agree with that. He reminded me of the time that I did try to get on a bicycle and ride it and fell down, but you have to get back up and do it again.
Absolutely.
And his message about practice, practice, practice.
Correct.
Do you have a recommendation for him for improvement?
Well, he started off with a question, how many of you hate giving speeches? So that was a great start, and I'm sure many of them will identify with having the stage fear and talking to an audience and be able to figure out, how do I make the speech more interesting? In that respect, I really was inspired because I'm going to go and join a specialty club as soon as this is done.
Well, since Gary told us all about the specialty clubs, you have a wide variety to choose from. One of them was the storytelling club and a leadership club. I guess there's an awful lot more to Toastmastering than just learning about communication and leadership. These are all specialized things.
Correct.
I would ask you, if you were going to be choosing one of these clubs, what one particular club would you choose?
Well, I've given a couple of humorous speeches, but I really need to kind of get some good tips on how to inject humor. So I really like to join one of those humor clubs.
Laugh Lovers is probably the place for you. That sounds good.
Absolutely.
I think so. There's an awful lot of opportunity there to practice that.
Yes.
Obviously, Gary has the inside track on this because he was telling us about learning from others, and I found it to be very, very inspiring that we could, in fact, help others to realize their own hopes and dreams.
Right.
So is this something that you're looking to do?
Really, that's true. And what he said also resonated with me. I've done my 10 speeches in the CC manual, and I'm stuck. And I need to go into my advanced communicator, and I'm not too much inspired. So this specialty is really going to help me move to the next level.
Okay, well, let's not get stuck too far. It's time for us to take a break with a public service announcement. So we're going to take a break here, but don't go away because we'll be right back.
Name an effective political leader in history who couldn't speak well.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
There aren't any.
Because when it comes to a disease
Freedom
like this,
requires leadership,
there are
and
no
leadership requires oratory. You have to speak to be heard.
I have a dream.
It's all about personal growth and guts.
Never give in. Never, never, never.
Welcome back to Toastmaster Time, the show that has everybody talking. And we had great speakers today, don't you think, Venu?
Absolutely. There were two great speeches. Both of them are really in my arena. And I'm going to use some of these tips from both the speeches to go forward.
Right. Jim Schultz was giving us humor, talking about a trip and a vacation to Italy, but he turned it all around with all kinds of humorous stuff.
Absolutely. One thing I really want to do is that child, the nanny service or whatever he mentioned about.
The man on the airplane?
On the airplane.
Have somebody else take care of your kids?
I was laughing out almost loudly.
That isn't fair. I travel all the time. They'd stick me with that. Oh, no, 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 no. But Gary Wong was telling us about the inspiring opportunities in Toastmaster with different clubs. So you think you might want to be looking for an advanced club to do something like that?
I am really going to check out some advanced club in my area, especially on the humor club. Laugh out loud. I don't know where they are located in the East Bay.
Yeah,
I'll check it
they're
out.
in the East Bay. They meet in Oakland
Absolutely.
On a Sunday night. So
that would be
it would be good.
Funny.
It would be funny. It would be an awful lot of humor you could take back to your club.
Absolutely.
You could also take it back to your home and have everybody else laughing at your jokes, if they don't already. I mean, isn't that fair enough? Okay. Fact of the matter is, I think that we had a really exceptional show tonight, this particular one, two very polished speakers, but giving us something very, very different in point of view.
Yes, both of them are really advanced speakers. They have a lot of experience between them, and they gave a really lot of good tips, and I really liked it.
I think our audience needs to know that we're just regular people here, and as a result, these are the skills they get from coming and practicing. Gary talked about practice, practice, practice. That's very, very true. Although when I was a kid playing the piano, I didn't want to practice, but for Toastmasters, it's a different ballgame altogether.
In our club, we also have the youth leadership series. So we try to catch hold of high school students and talk about how can we be better communicators, how can we be better leaders, and so on. And this speech is going to be an inspiration for them also. We can start off with, don't you hate talking in front of an audience? And that will resonate with high school students too.
I think you're absolutely right about that. Then youth leadership is something offered by the Toastmaster clubs. It doesn't cost anybody anything because the Toastmaster clubs sponsor it totally.
Right.
And the impact on the youth is enormous when they go back to school. They're better leaders, communicators in their classroom and with their other people. It's absolutely fantastic.
Right on the money. And they absorb much, much better than we can. Don't you think so?
Let's not talk about age, okay? All right, okay. As a wrap-up, would you have any comment, particularly on the show and the people who are in it, and what? Because I want you to come back and do this again for Evaluator.
Absolutely, Ashley. I really enjoyed doing these things, and I've listened to many of those tapes, and I find many of the speeches are absolutely on the mark, very inspirational and motivates, and of course funny, many of them too.
Okay, well listen, thank you very, very much for being here. I appreciate it. You did a great job as an evaluator. We'll be seeing you again.
You're welcome, Ashley.
I'd like to tell the people at home that Toastmaster Time is a production of the Toastmasters International. We do this production in the Palo Alto Mid-Peninsula studios. I want to thank all of the people who are part of the studio and the Evaluator, Venu, our two speakers, Gary Wong, Jim Schultz, and all the staff of Toastmaster Time Television. It takes a lot of people to put this on. If you're interested in finding out more about Toastmaster Time, including the opportunity to come and either be in the audience or a speaker in front of the camera, we have a website. It's where you can go to learn more about Toastmaster Time. It's called www.toastmasters.com. That's where you can see the shows. You can go to our website at the district for District 57 and talk about it's www.d57tm.org. And of course, there's also the international website, toastmasters.org. So for all of the people who have been on the show tonight and all of us at Toastmaster Time, we want to all wish you good luck in your talking, and come to a Toastmaster Club. Meet new friends. You'll be surprised and be glad you did it. Toastmaster Time is a regular production. We'll see you next time.